Did you hear the one about the white guy in Texas who pretended to be black to get elected? No, this is not a joke.
The white guy led voters to believe he was black to win a seat on the Houston Community College Board.
I had always said it was a long shot. No, I didn't expect to win.
Dave Wilson is a Houston electrician by trade and is described in the Texas Observer as a man, quote, known locally for nuisance lawsuits and homophobia. That last bit comes primarily from mailers he sent out in 2009, stating that an openly gay candidate shouldn't be mayor because, quote, homosexual behavior leads to extinction. Well, last week, Wilson was running for the Board of Trustees of the Houston Community College system in a predominantly black district. So in an attempt to invent a persona for himself that would be more palpable to voters in his district, Wilson ditched his homophobia platform for, shall we say, some deeply questionable identity politics. First, there was the fact that his campaign material never showed his face.
His flyers depicted smiling African-American faces. The words said, "Please vote for our friend and neighbor, Dave Wilson." The pictures, he admits, were just lifted off the internet.
Well, all of these supporters are African-American.
What a coincidence.
And then there was this radio ad.
Girl, have you been keeping up with the HCC District 2 race?
The one between Dave Wilson and Bruce Austin?
Yes, that's the one. It's the strangest thing. That Bruce Austin voted against $6 million in scholarships for our children right here in our neighborhood. Girl, please, I bet he has relatives that could have used some of that scholarship money he voted against. I've had about enough of him.
So what we gonna do?
I'm voting for Dave Wilson.
It's hard to say how much Wilson's little audio minstrel show and his racial deception helped him in last week's election. We do know this. His opponent, Bruce Austin, is black. And Wilson managed to eke out a victory by only 26 votes in a race with more than 11,000 cast. Now, one of our chief problems with the way we think and talk about race is accepting its boundaries as fixed. And so maybe somewhere buried deep beneath the bad faith and racial stereotypes and downright ugliness dispensed by Dave Wilson, there's a kernel of truth about the fact that the racial lines that divide us aren't as hard and fast as we like to pretend. Take, for instance, this guy, Craig Cobb, a 62-year-old white supremacist who wants to turn the small town of Leith, North Dakota, a town of 16 people, into a white enclave. Yesterday, Cobb agreed to undergo a DNA test on daytime TV.
Craig Paul Cobb has undergone DNA testing to determine genetic ancestry. 86% European and...
Give it to him. Give it to him.
14% Sub-Saharan African.
Wait a minute.
Hey.
Hold on. Just wait a minute.
So,
This is called statistical noise.
sweetheart, you have a little black in you.
Listen.
Thinking of doing DNA testing of white supremacists on the show. That right there, what you saw, that's the confounding truth about race. It is two things at once, each in tension with the other. It is a construction, a fiction, something completely invented by our society to divide and categorize and oppress people. But no matter how arbitrary all of that is, race is also, at the same time, an absolute lived reality with very real consequences. For white, black, Latino, and everyone else, real or not, it structures the way we move through this world. And no one, at least not in my generation, has ever quite nailed that paradox, our necessary convention of race, as well as this genius, Dave Chappelle.
All right, Jay, it's time to show these people what white power's all about.
You better put your hood on, Clayton.
All right.
Might want to hide your identity to be safer. You know, in case some radical ain't sympathetic to the cause wants to shoot you.
Yeah, that's good thinking. All right.
We want to see your face.
Who said that? You want to see my face?
Clayton, go on, brother.
You want to see my face? Don't be afraid, Jay.
We're talking about that.
Don't be afraid. Thank y'all for coming. White power!
So, to Dave Wilson, you, sir, have gotten yourself elected on a bait and switch. So maybe you can spend your term in office trying to actually faithfully represent the interests of the people that voted for you. And to Paul Cobb, just watch that Chappelle clip over and over and think about what you might see now you were blind to before.